Hi everybody, and welcome back to Tell and Talk with Coop. So I know it has been a very long time, like probably almost a year I want to say. I do apologize for the long wait. A couple people have been asking me about when will my next video be posted, but I'm here, I'm back, I'm ready for action. So be ready for what's coming next. It's definitely been working on a lot of new things and just trying to upgrade my channel. So get ready. As you can see, I had a baby. This is Treasure. And right now she's teething, so she's gonna be chewing on my finger through this video. I thought she was gonna be talking of 2018, but I didn't find out about the pregnancy until July of 2018. How I found out is I was really sick. I was like a different type of sick, a sick I had never felt before. I was literally like, I thought it was a virus that I didn't know about. So I'm a big Hennessy fan. I drink Hennessy, and so this is how I knew it was the icing on the cake. Prior to me drinking Hennessy, like I said, I wasn't able to eat. Certain things would make me nauseous, and I just thought that the whole time I ate something bad. Like, no, I must have ate some bad food or something, and I was trying to retrack everything I ate within the last couple of days. Because I was sick for about 4 days before I decided to go to the hospital. So then our family had a block party. I had a big bottle of Hennessy, and I really couldn't enjoy it. I kind of faked it a little bit, but I was kind of sick that day, and I wasn't thinking nothing about it. It was extremely hot, and I remember just feeling like I was about to faint the entire day. It was like July. It was July, so I could just remember July of last year feeling like I was going to pass out. It was no type of shade. Even if it was shade, it wasn't helping. So then the next day, my boyfriend wakes us up. We get our day started. By the middle of the day, he like, part two, let's get some more Hennessy, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, okay, fine. So he ended up buying another small bottle of Hennessy. And then, by the way, yeah, my hands are clean before anybody asks. She does this a lot, so I try to make sure my hands are clean. So anywho, he buys Hennessy, and we just, sit home. We gonna just try to stay out the sun today because he knew I wasn't feeling good, but he thought Hennessy might make me feel better. So, drunk some Hennessy. I took one shot and I didn't want any more, and I knew that's when it was strange for me because Hennessy is my thing. Like, it's like my right hand man. So I decided, okay, yeah, I'm going to the hospital. So that morning, the next morning, I decided to go to urgent care. So this had been like day 4 by this time that I was sick, and I couldn't explain what the sickness was. So I go to urgent care, and I'm just, doing standard routine. They make me urine in a cup, and I'm just waiting for them to give me some type of prescription saying, oh yeah, it must have been the food, stay away from this. Maybe I'm thinking it was going to be a food that I didn't know I was allergic to or something, I don't know. So, this is actually the first thing he did, is make me urine in the cup. When I told him how I was feeling, I guess he probably already had an idea of what was going on. So, brought back my urine, gave him my urine sample. He came back not even 30 seconds, probably 30 seconds later, and was like, yeah, this is how you got here. So, gave him my urine sample, and from there, he came back 30 seconds later and was like, congratulations. Coincidentally, my boyfriend does not go to the hospital with me, but this time he was like, I'm going to go with you. I don't know if it was bored or something told him something was wrong, so he's like, I'm going to go with you. So he ended up going with me. The guy came back like, congratulations. I'm like, congratulations? What do you mean? I'm thinking you were going to tell me I got I don't know, stomach infection or something. So he like, yeah, you're about to be a mom. I'm like, wow. And my initial emotion was just wow. It wasn't a wow like I'm hurt, or a wow like, oh my God, what I'm going to do. It was just like, wow. Like, I did not expect that to be the outcome. So, like I said, I wasn't sad at all. My first thought was my second thought was, who am I about to call first? Because I'm I'm grown. I'm not about to hide it. I need to let the world know I'm pregnant. I'm about to be a mom. I need to figure out who I'm about to call. So, um, like I'm assuming most people would do, I got on the phone. I called my mom, and he called his cousin, which is not a godfather of the treasure, but so we both on the phone with he's on the phone with his cousin, I'm on the phone with my mother, and we're both like, yeah, so I'm pregnant. And then we just from there we drove home. He started calling all his family. I started calling all my family. I was sending out messages. Some people thought I was pranking them, like stop playing with me. My entire 9-month pregnancy, a couple of my cousins was like, yeah, I still can't believe you're pregnant. Until my belly actually got rounded, people were still like, yeah, right, you still making this up. Because I made so many jokes about not having a kid, just being an aunt and things like that. But I guess somewhere down the line, it happened. So um, I was interrupted by my brother.
What's up, y'all? I had to see my niece.
Look how she looking at him. So anywho, back to my story. So I'm at urgent care. He like the guy who told me I was pregnant. He came back and gave me no finish what you was doing.
I was dancing for my niece, not for telling the tongue.
She thinks he's funny because he dances all the time. But anywho, sorry. So the guy writes me a prescription like, oh yeah, just go to the front. They had a pharmacy inside the urgent care, so he like, yeah, just go to the pharmacy and get you some prenatal pills. I had heard about prenatal pills, but I didn't know what the hell. I didn't know. I'm like, prenatal, okay, when do I take them? Should I take one now? I'm still feeling nauseous. Like, so what do I do? Do I need to go eat something? Because I hadn't ate that day. It was probably maybe like almost 1 o'clock in the afternoon. So I'm like, he's like, yeah, just go to the counter and tell me you need prenatals. I'm like, okay. Go to the counter. I'm like, yeah, here go my prescription. The guy like, here you go. Congratulations. And that was it. Just sent me on my way. I'm like, wait a minute, hold on, let me go back here. So I go ask my doctor, like, so now what? Like, I'm pregnant. They just told me, here goes some prenatal pills. I don't know when do I take them? Do I need to take them now? Do I need to take them after I eat? Do I take them twice a day, once a day? I had no idea. I had heard about them, but I didn't know, how they work. What was they even for? So, yeah, she was like, you're going to have to find your OBGYN. Once again, another term I had heard before, but didn't know what it was about. So she was like, well, I can just print you out a list of OBGYNs that are near here, or that we're connected to, blah blah blah. So she gave me a long list of OBGYNs. I didn't get halfway through the list before I got annoyed, because most of the people who I had called were not available for another couple of months. I had called maybe 5 OBGYNs on that list, and they were all like, nope, can't see you until September, October, and it was July. So I'm like, no, I need someone now. I'm pregnant. I don't know what to do. I don't even know if I need to, what do I need to eat? I don't know. Like, do I need to take off of work? I had no idea. So I called my mom once again, go-to girl. Called her like, yeah, they gave me very minimum details. So she gave me more details or whatever. And she was like, well, just think about where, she told me to think about where I wanted to have a baby, and then try to see if they had an OBGYN. So I always said if I ever got pregnant, I would go to Hustle, because I had heard a lot of good reviews about Hustle Hospital in Detroit. So I called them, told them I was pregnant. It was my first time, and I needed an OBGYN. They got me an appointment for, I want to say that same month. They gave me an appointment the same month. Like, oh yeah, you can come see us in 2 weeks. Okay, cool, that's perfect, because everybody else I talked to said 2 to 3 or 4 months. So I'm like, I'll be there. Got my first appointment, but before my appointment got there, I was checking myself into emergency like every other day, because I was so nauseous. My first 3 months, my first trimester, I was like so nauseous, like literally sick to my stomach. So I was barely eating. The only thing I had a taste for was fruit. I could only eat watermelon. I didn't even like all fruit. I could only eat like watermelons or oranges, and ice. So that's what I ate for the first 3 months, was all fruit. I had lost, like, I was so scared. I had lost so much weight. I was like 138 when I got pregnant, and I ended up dropping down to like 125. And then by the time I got to 4 months, I only gained like 2 pounds. So I was just worried, like, this is gonna be a tiny little baby. Went through my whole pregnancy with no emotion. Like, I was just excited throughout the whole pregnancy. Um, I finally picked up my appetite by month 4, and that's when I started eating my normal amount of meals. And then by my 6th or 7th month, that's when I started eating double the meals, and my weight started picking up slowly. I was before this was another thing I noticed. I knew something was wrong because I was doing workouts every morning. Like, I would work out 6 days a week before I got pregnant. Like, I had little abs coming in and everything, and then like I noticed that my stomach wasn't going nowhere. Like, at first it's smaller, but then it started looking like it wasn't moving at all. Like, for like 2 weeks it was, no, I'm not gonna say 2 weeks. For like a week straight, nothing changed. Like, and I would literally look in the mirror at my stomach every 2 or 3 days to see if it was any change. Look at her, just gone. So, yeah, I knew something was up. Like, I'm not gaining any weight. I'm not losing any weight. But by month 4, like I said, my appetite came and I was back to normal. And so then, fast forward to month 9, I was as big as I had ever been. I'm still big as I've ever been. I haven't lost any weight. Well, I've lost weight, but not a lot. So month 9 gets here, and I'm starting to, get winded. I'm starting to get paranoid because I hear all types of stories about when people have their babies while they're in the middle of nowhere or in traffic or, at the grocery store, everywhere. So I'm just the whole time paranoid that I'm going to go in labor at any moment. My boyfriend, he didn't want me to go nowhere by myself because he was like, you can go into labor at any time. I was still going to work. I worked all the way until the week before I actually had the baby. I guess you don't want that. You keep spitting it out. So, yeah, everybody at my job was like we had actually made a bet on what day the baby was going to be due. Everybody was like, yeah, you're going to be due tomorrow. You're going to be due today, later on tonight. Everybody had their theory. So, anywho, I ended up taking off for my maternity leave the week before I went into labor. I actually didn't go into labor. When I went to my final doctor's appointment, my doctor was like, so what do you want to do next week? Because next week you'll be at week 41. And I can let you go to week 42, but I don't know if you'll be uncomfortable. So I'm like, yeah, I'm starting to get pretty uncomfortable. I'm winded. I'm ready to meet my baby. I already, I feel like it's going to happen next week. So she was like, okay, well, next week I can schedule you for to be induced. I couldn't think of the word. So then she scheduled me to be induced. Lost my train of thought. She scheduled me to be induced, and it was for 9 o'clock the next morning. Well, yeah, I think because my appointment was like on a Friday, and she scheduled me to be induced that Saturday. I think, don't quote me on the days of the week. But, yeah, so I came back the very next day, 9 o'clock in the morning. She told me don't eat anything. Well, no, she told me to eat before I get there, and, at least an hour before I get there. So I ate like 8 o'clock that morning, but I didn't have an appetite because it was too early in the morning. I normally don't get hungry until 9 o'clock when my appointment was. So I didn't eat. Well, I ate a sandwich, but I kind of had to force it down because I knew I was going to be in labor for a while. I get there at 9 o'clock. They start to monitor my contractions. I had 0 contractions. So she was like, okay, depending on how your contractions are, we're going to give you either medicine A or medicine B. So I guess since I had 0 contractions, she gave me like and I was only dilated at 2 centimeters. So she gave me medicine B, which was supposed to increase my contractions, which it did. 30 minutes after I got that medicine, I felt everything. It felt like somebody was like wringing my organs out. Like, you ever hand wash some clothes and you wring them out? That's how the inside of my stomach felt like. my contraction, my insides was being wrung out by hand. So my contractions was like every 30 minutes, and then they got down every 15 minutes, and then they dropped down to like every 2 minutes. My contractions was like at a peak every 2 minutes. I was looking at it on a monitor. So then she like, okay, you feel the contractions. We just gonna keep checking your cervix to see if you dilate. She came back, checked my cervix. I was at 3 centimeters. She's like, okay, you kind of moving slow on the dilating part. I'm like, okay. So she gave me some more of the same dose. That dosage just made my contraction stronger. I got dilated to 4, and then I got dilated to 5. Next thing you know, the baby's heart rate started to slow down. So I'm panicking. Like I said, the whole pregnancy, I had no emotions, like no bad emotions. Everything was just happy-go-lucky. I was so jolly. I was so excited, like just in preparation for it. So when she told me the heart rate was going down, don't quote me on the numbers, but I believe her heart rate went from like 45 to a 30 beat per minute or whatever. So I'm like, yeah, that don't sound good. That's a drop. So they was like, we're gonna just closely monitor her heart rate. So they was coming to check me like every 15 minutes. By this time, I dilated to 5 centimeters. I didn't go no further than 5 centimeters. So they was like, that's the problem, because we would usually try to break your water, but you're still not dilated enough. You're trying to get to 10, you at 5. I'm like, okay, what now? The lady like, well, did you ever consider a C-section? Meanwhile, mind you, my entire pregnancy, I said, whatever they do, I don't want to be induced. I don't want a C-section. So I'm already getting induced, something I did not want to do. I just got too tired of being pregnant and was eager to be. So when she asked me have I ever considered C-section, I kind of got teary-eyed, because I'm like, I'm already being induced, something I didn't want to do, and now I'm got to consider a C-section. But she told me the risks of not doing it, and the possible outcomes. And of course, it was just all bad news, like, oh, you could die, the baby could die, the baby could have some type of defect. It was just so many side effects, and I'm like, you know what? Give me a minute. So she left out the room for like 5 minutes or less. I don't know how long. I wasn't really counting, but she left out the room. Wait, let me just go back a little bit. When I had those contractions, they did hurt, but I don't think I did as bad as a lot of people did. All I did, I would like quench up every time I felt the contraction. Like I would just tighten up, and they would just kept telling me like, just breathe, but I couldn't. So, she came back in the room. She like, yeah. So I talked to my boss, and we're gonna have to do a C-section. I don't know where the tears came from, but they came. They was just in big crocodile tears. I'm crying like, C-section, no. What the hell? Like, this is the third thing I said I did not want to do is get an epidural, which I ended up getting. Those contractions picked up, like they went from a 7 to a 14. So by that time, he like, do you still don't want the epidural? I'm like, yes, give me all the drugs. They had me so high off of medicine. I didn't know what day, what time it was, nothing. So, got the epidural, which was extremely painful to get done. But once it got done, I felt so relieved. I get to the C-section table. The man is like, let me know if you feel any cutting pain, like somebody's cutting on you. And I did. Like midway through the procedure, I felt a very sharp knife cutting me, meaning the medicine had wore off. So I'm hollering at this time. I'm not hollering like screaming, but I'm hollering at him like, I feel the cutting. I'm literally hollering this to him as I'm squeezing my boyfriend's hand, who was sitting next to me the whole time. So he telling them, everybody what's going on, like get her some medicine, get her whatever, he naming the stuff. So they hurry up and put it in through my IV, and by that time I'm back numb again. So I'm like, okay, I'm good. Whatever medicine they gave me prior to getting to the table made me nauseous. I threw up a couple times. So then I wish I would have just came in knowing I was getting a C-section, because I wouldn't have been there so long. I got there at 9 in the morning. I didn't get medicine until 12 p.m. for the start of the inducement. And then I didn't have her until 3 o'clock the next day. But once they got me on the table, I was on that table for like 30 to 45 minutes and I was done. So if I would have went in knowing I was getting a C-section, I probably would have been at the hospital for 2 hours. Well, I would have been in labor and delivery for 2 hours at the most. Once the baby came out, she brings her to me. I look at her. I'm like, wow, she's white. This baby is extremely white. Um, she's like, here's your baby. Do you want to do skin to skin? I'm like, no, I want to go to sleep. Can you get me to my room and a bed? So she took me to the recovery to make sure, everything was sealed up properly. Make sure the baby didn't have anything. They, inspected her really good. Made sure she had enough heat and all of that. And they took us to our room. And I stayed in the hospital for 3 days. That healing process was horrible. I felt paralyzed from the waist down. I barely could move. I had to use a walker, well, not a walker, but I had to lean on things to get up and down off the bed. But yeah, I was pretty paralyzed. I felt helpless. I did go through a little postpartum. But here I am now with a 3-month-old baby. She came out 6 pounds, 7 ounces on March 20th.